From seeing the very first Mustang ad to that time, Chrysler teamed up with Frank Sinatra to sell the Imperial. In this video, we'll take a look at 10 classic car brochures that are just too cool to forget. First up on the list is the brochure for the 1964 Mustang. Honestly, there's not a whole lot to say here. This is the introduction of one of the most iconic American legends. When it rolled out, the Mustang caught everyone's attention so hard, it even snagged the Tiffany Award for Excellence in American Design. Yep, the same Tiffany that deals in diamonds. That's a pretty fancy stamp of approval for a pony car. Ford made it clear the Mustang had the flair of a European sports car, but packed with all the practical sense and affordability that American drivers wanted. This was a car for a new generation, young and ready to break away from the usual. The brochure bragged about the price too, hinting you'd be shocked by how much you got for so little money. Leather soft vinyl seats that practically laugh at spills, wide doors for easy access, and enough room for 4 adults to ride comfortably. Plus, the seats folded down so you could fit whatever gear you needed for getaway trips. In short, Ford wanted you to see the Mustang as the total package. Stylish, practical, affordable, and ready to become a classic. And well, they nailed it. Next on the list is the sales booklet for the Lincoln Continental Mark V, and right from the start it makes one thing clear. Elegance is the whole point. The brochure doesn't waste time showing off the finer details. Plush 18-ounce pile carpeting. And get this, a Cartier-signed day-date timepiece right on the dashboard. Because why settle for a regular clock when you can have Cartier? The seats get plenty of attention, with twin comfort lounge seats in the driver's chair boasting 6-way power adjustments. Power features have their own spotlight. Power steering, power windows, power brakes, and even a power radio antenna. The abundance of lights was also highlighted. Dome, ashtray, glove box, luggage area, rear pillars, instrument panel, and door panels. Basically, if you can't find it in this car at night, it's not there. Another thing that really stands out is the name dropping, and with good reason, because it proudly lists collaborations with fashion heavyweights Bill Blass, Cartier, Givenchy, and Emilio Pucci. And if you want to dive deeper into the car itself, there's already a video on this channel all about it, so feel free to check it out. By the way, if you like this kind of video, we've just launched a new channel with the same vibe, but with a twist. Instead of American classics, it's all about classic European and Australian cars. If you enjoyed the 10 cars a brand built but never released series, there's already one on Jaguar, plus a video on what might be the first Australian supercar. The link's in the description and the pinned comment, so feel free to check it out and subscribe if you like it. Thanks for the support, and now let's get back to the video. Up next, we've got a piece of AMC marketing that went for a, let's just say, provocative approach. The 1968 AMC Ambassador. Right from the first page, it hits you with a brag no other American automaker could make at the time. The only American car with air conditioning standard. And they really meant it. No fine print, no only on select trims. Every single Ambassador came with its own AC at no extra cost. And it was a great idea because honestly, if you've ever sat in bumper-to-bumper summer traffic with hot air blasting through your windows, you know exactly where they were coming from. But here's where the controversial part comes in. Instead of comparing themselves to the obvious competition like the Ford Galaxy or Chevy Impala, AMC decided that was much too unfair. So they skipped right over Detroit and put themselves side by side with a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. Yep, a car that cost almost $20,000 compared to the Ambassador's $2,918 price tag. The brochure keeps a straight face about it too, listing features they both shared: standard air conditioning, reclining seats, optional on the Ambassador, unit body construction, deep dip rust proofing, and coil spring seats. They even threw in a headroom comparison. Turns out the Ambassador had more headroom than a Cadillac, and by extension, more than the Rolls. And AMC makes sure to remind you that not everyone can afford a Rolls, but to be fair, the brand fully acknowledged that the Rolls-Royce was in a league of its own, even stating, "We wouldn't have the effrontery to suggest that our Ambassador, which lists for $2,918, is built from Rolls-Royce parts." So they cleared the waters, but still managed to get their point across. The next one is for a car with one of the most fascinating stories in American automotive history, one we've already covered here on the channel, the Tucker 48. The brochure starts not with the car, but with the man behind it, Preston Tucker. Page 1 reads almost like the opening to a biography, telling how Tucker honed his skills alongside the legendary Harry Miller, building race cars that dominated Indianapolis. It details how his engineering breakthroughs, too advanced for mass production at the time, were tested and perfected on the track. Then came the war, and those same innovations found their way into bombers, pursuit planes, and motorized artillery that helped lead Patton's forces through France. Only after setting the stage does the booklet unveil the car itself. The Tucker 48 is presented as the answer to everything post-war drivers had been waiting for. A low modern profile, a rear engine for balance and efficiency, and fuel economy reaching 30 to 35 miles per gallon. It's billed as more luxurious than the most expensive cars on the road, yet priced in the medium range. And while performance gets plenty of attention, the brochure makes one thing crystal clear. Safety is the real headline. It boldly calls the Tucker the world's safest car, safer 12 exclusive ways than conventional cars. Page after page backs up that claim, detailing innovations like a low center of gravity, 63% shorter stopping distances, shatterproof glass, a padded dashboard, and the famous safety chamber under the dash. Sadly, as we all know, the Tucker 48 never reached the future its creator had in mind. Next up, we've got a brochure that, while short, perfectly shows how to be straight to the point and effective. It doubles down on Chevy's two stars of 1968, the Corvette and the Camaro. Remember, the Camaro was just 1 year old then, having been released the previous year. Right from the start, Chevy sets the stage with a confident, tough act to follow, reminding you that the Corvette has been America's only true production sports car for 15 years. And while praising a car that was already a legend, they managed to cleverly market both cars without stepping on each other's toes. Up next on the list, we've got the campaign General Motors ran from 1957 to 1959 to promote Fisher Body, at the time a General Motors division that built bodies for Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, and Cadillac. These ads typically featured one of General Motors' own models wearing a Fisher-built body and proudly pointing out what made it special. Phrases like, "a body built to stay silent for years," and "the sound barrier body promised a quiet, solid ride," while safety perks like safety plate glass in every window made sure drivers knew they were well protected. And almost without fail, each ad closed with the signature line, "Only the General Motors 5 give you the bonus of Body by Fisher." Next on the list, we've got the launch brochure for the AMC Gremlin, proudly billed as the new American car, and AMC really meant new. Instead of drowning you in paragraphs of copy, they let the visuals do most of the talking. One of their favorite moves? Park a Gremlin next to a Volkswagen Beetle and start checking off the differences. The focus was clear: size and money. They wanted you to know this was the kind of small car America had been waiting for. Easy to buy, easy to drive, and easy to take care of. At just 161 inches long, it was only 2.5 inches longer than a Beetle, but its tighter turning circle made it even easier to park. And while it was compact, it packed more muscle. 128 horsepower to the Volkswagen's 57, a 0 to 60 time of 15.3 seconds, and enough width, weight, and low stance to promise a smoother, more stable ride than anything else its size. They also leaned hard on the practicality angle. Up to 500 miles on a tank, oil changes only every 6,000 miles, and two versions: a 2-passenger model with a big storage area, and a 4-passenger with fold-down seats and a flip-up rear window. Best of all, they reminded you it cost about the same as an imported economy car, except it was American, and the cheapest 4-passenger car made in America at the time, starting at $1,959. Unless, of course, you went for the 2-passenger Gremlin, which was even less. Up next, we've got the 1958 Cadillac sales brochure, and honestly, the luxury practically spills out before you even open it. The cover alone makes it clear Cadillac wanted you to know this was the standard of the world. At the time, Cadillac was the undisputed symbol of American luxury, and this catalog doubled down on that image. It rolled out the full lineup for 1958, from the Series 62 and its many body styles to the Coupe de Ville and the Eldorado. And just look at the way the Fleetwood 75 sedan was shown. It's the kind of imagery that makes you want to be a successful tycoon, gliding through the city to important meetings, sealing billion-dollar deals. Every page is a statement piece, dripping with the kind of prestige only Cadillac could pull off in 1958. The message was simple. If you wanted the very best in comfort, style, and status, you were looking at it. Next up, we have the 1958 Edsel brochure, and yes, we all know the story of the Edsel as one of the biggest flops in automotive history, but the flyer features some really cool artwork. Even if phrases like, "This is the Edsel and there has never been a car like it," or the boasts about 11 years of planning and over 1.25 million road test miles haven't aged well, the brochure still does its job. It promises and showcases a car packed with advanced features, offering plenty of detail to back it up, including the controversial control center instrument panel with all its functions laid out clearly. And that was probably needed because the Edsel, for better or for worse, wasn't your typical car. For the next and final one, we've got the 1981 Chrysler Imperial FS, and what better way to end the video than with the chairman of the board himself? The Imperial FS was basically a special limited edition endorsed by Frank Sinatra. You'd think that with this collaboration and the focus on American luxury, they had a bulletproof formula, but unfortunately the car wasn't a big success, even with the help of the voice. And that wraps up our look back at some cool classic car brochures and ads. Now it's your turn. What brochure or ad would you have added? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe and click on the recommended video that appears on the screen. It's all about 9 rare cars AMC built but never released, including forgotten ones like the Amatron and the AM van. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.